First.
Can you talk about Maliq Carr and how he's come along? Expanded role in it?
The question is how has Maliq been? How's he coming along? You know what? I like where he's at. You know, it's been a process. It's been a 3-year process, and Maliq's finally at a point where he's truly embracing that he is a tight end, and everything that comes along with that. I'm really proud of how much he has improved in the run game for his blocking. And I mean, that's been his biggest struggle, because we all know he's a big athletic guy, but he just wasn't ready, in my opinion, the last couple of years for certain situations. And but I think he is now. You know, he's in a position to be that main guy. I mean, you know, in a position where you know, hopefully he doesn't lead the field too much. You know, so obviously we got to continue to work on our endurance and all those kind of things now that he's in that role. But I'm happy with where he's at.
What do you attribute that sort of switch flip to? Is it just getting older? Is it you drilling into him? I mean, what do you sort of point to and say, here's where he turned that corner to becoming that every down type?
I think the question is, when did the light switch come on for him? I think it's been a combination of all those things. I mean, because it's been a journey. I mean, those first, you know, year one, I think it's probably about game 8 that he finally played a little bit, because he hadn't earned it. You know, year 2, he still wasn't a complete player, and he's more of a role player for it. Whether he agreed with it or not, and trust me, he did not agree with it. You know, he hadn't earned it. You know, so that's been a process for both of us. I mean, because he'll be the first to tell you he probably didn't like me, and I tell you what, there's days I didn't like him. You know, but through it all, we found our way, and we're at a point where I think we understand each other. But I think he appreciates it now, because he knows it was not given to him. And now I'm asking him to be a leader. I'm asking him to, and he's doing a good job, by the way, at that, as far as leading other guys. And I'm trying to teach him how to be a professional now.
What can that do for an offense to have a guy who can keep people honest, so to speak? You know,
Oh, it changes us.
on the field.
Yeah, it changes us, I mean, immensely. I mean, now you got to defend the entire field. Maliq have a unique skill set. I mean, let's keep in mind right now, I think I shouldn't say I think, I know he's too heavy right now. But you wouldn't know it. I mean, the other day, Maliq weighed 272, you know, and I'm saying, hey, we got to get that down, you know, so we can, you know, be on the field a bit longer. But for a big man, he can still move. There's not a lot of big people out there that can move like him. So he really has a chance, now that he's going to be a starter, to really make a name for himself, really put himself in a position to do some great things. So I'm anxious to watch him.
Is there a weight goal for him?
Well, you know, I would love for him to be, you know, that 265, 260, you know. But he proved my point. So when you talk to him, say, hey, Coach Gilmore told you a long time ago, you won't ever see 220 again.
Someone,
he is, you know.
Someone last week joked that he came in here and he said, I'm not a tight end, I'm a receiver.
You know, don't question it.
How do you, especially with the way the game has evolved, with the guys like the Jimmy Grahams that flank out like that, how do you get a guy to buy into that? What was your coaching process to bring him into that?
Well, it had a lot to do with not playing much year 1, not, you know, rotating in year 2, and I think that got his attention. That, you know, no, this is what you're gonna have to do. You're gonna have to do it all, and you have to embrace that. And once he truly embraced that, and one, he's at peace, you know, because he knows what he is. He knows what his future is, and now that I know that. I know what my why is. I know what I need to do. You know, so it's been a 3-year process.
Coach, as we celebrate Maliq and his evolution, you just kind of laid out the blueprint to his success. Is this normally the process for most big-time athletes that transition into high-level college football, or is it still different for other people?
No, it's no different. You're going to always have that. I mean, you got to keep in mind, all these guys come out of high school, highly recruited. You know, they're the best at their school, and they come here and have to start all over. Some make that adjustment a little bit easier than others. And make no mistake about it, Maliq had the ability day 1, but it's all the other intangibles that I had to get him to understand, and that's where we butted heads at times, because he can look and say, Coach, I'm more athletic than this guy. I can do this. Why don't I just, you know, why don't I just do all the passes? But no, you have to do everything. And if you're not doing everything, I'm not going to reward you.
Is butting head always a bad thing?
No, it's not a bad thing. I mean, I've been doing this a long time ago. You know, for a long time, I should say. And it's not the first time a player just didn't disagree with me or didn't like me. I'm 56-year-old. I don't need a 22-year-old friend. So let's start there. You know, so I'm not trying to be his friend. I'm here to tell him the truth. And I think in the long run, he appreciates that, because I'm not, you know, hey, you know, I'm telling you what you need to do. I'm telling you what I see, you know, and then we can watch the tape, and hopefully somewhere in the middle we can get on the same page. But it's not about telling him what he wants to hear, it's about telling him what he needs to hear. And trust me, there's been plenty of times I've stepped on his toes, his shoes, but there's also been times where I've been willing to shine.
What about the second scrimmage on Saturday? Just kind of what your overall thoughts were, offensively, tight end wise.
Offensively, we're not where we want to be. Obviously, we still got a lot of stuff to clean up. I'm trying to be balanced, and there's times it was able to be balanced, and times it wasn't. So that's ongoing. We got to continue to work on trying to fix that. As it relates to the tight end position, I'm still trying to figure out. I know what Maliq Carr is. Now I got to figure out who the other guys are, what their role's going to be, and how they're going to help, so on and so forth. So that's my job between now and that first ball game, is to really identify and make sure those guys clearly understand what their role's going to be and how they fit into the scheme of things.
So you got the 3 transfers, and then I was wondering, like, some of the Jack Nichols and Michael Miss and this type of guys, and just kind of what you see from individually what each of them brings, because you got obviously some different body types.
Sure. And they all bring something different to the table, and that's the problem. They might be good in the pass, they might be good in the run. I'm trying to find as complete player as I can, and that's where that's what I got to figure out in the next couple of weeks. Exactly who's doing what, because some of them may not necessarily be ready for this role, but they are in this role, and putting guys in the best position to be successful. And like I said, all of those guys are very competitive. All those guys are very driven and hungry. So the competition has been really good, really good. And obviously I've had to grade every single practice just because it's that close. And at the end of it, I mean, that'll have a lot to do with who's doing what based on those grades.
Just having the increased depth in your room, this is probably your deepest room since you've been here, right?
It is.
How's that help? How's that played out?
Well, it's the coach's best friend. And I say it like that because obviously, you can't get held hostage, and by the same token, you have a guy like Maliq Carr. So when I'm talking about trying to be professional, right now he's not threatened by anybody else. So if his slip is showing, I have to be the one to tell him.
How many different styles do you have at that position? It seems like a guy like Filet is a bigger guy that can get out and maul someone, and some, obviously Maliq is pass centric, and you got guys like Morris, and like, how many types of guys do you have?
Oh, we got it all. We got it all. Obviously, you say Maliq as far as the pass, but make no mistake, Maliq is big and strong. Maliq needs to pass also. He needs to block also. So he needs to be a complete player. You mentioned Mola. Mola right now, obviously, as he continues to learn, his upside is huge, big time upside. Run in pass. I just got to get a little bit better fundamentally. Yeah, you have Evan Morris, who's put himself in position to help us in the run game a little bit. Evan might be the toughest guy in the room. Now we gotta help him stay here and not get too high, not get too low, and teach him how to hit that reset button. Jalen Franklin obviously came to us from Wisconsin. I've been knowing Jalen for a long time, and Jalen's very athletic young man. And Jalen is one, as we continue to work on keeping the weight on him so he can hold up at the point. But he's very athletic and get in position. We got to do a better job of catching the ball, and inconsistent catching the ball. Jack Nickel is right now can help us today in the run game. He's very fundamentally sound in the run game, and came here from Milton. Already knowing a lot of that. So his background has helped him. Mike Masunas is playing catch up. Obviously coming off the injury last year, so we got to get his pads a little bit lower, get him playing a little bit more, a little tougher. But he's coming. He's a smart kid. He knows it all. Very, very, very bright young man. Tynell Hopper, he's probably had his best 2 weeks since he's been here. He's finally, seeing what we envisioned as far as playing fast and playing physical, and what he was. Now we're on the same page, and his talent level's been coming to life. So he'll play a role, both run and pass. Who did I miss?
Parachek, Brennan.
I'm sorry?
Parachek.
You know what? Hey, bright future. That young man got a bright future. Hopefully I can keep him away from baseball. But he's got a bright future. I'm very excited about his future.
So as a group, where you feel like you're at in the run game? Mel was in here the other day and talked about the offense needs to run the ball better. You sort of started with the tight ends. I'm just wondering where your comfort level is, or your confidence with that.
Well, and you know what? Because like you said, we are part of the extension of the whole line, so we got to do a better job. Last year we didn't consistently block that C gap well, and there's been a lot of emphasis, and knock on wood, we won our share in camp. you know, and so we got something we can build upon. But you know, it's required. It's part of the job requirement, I should say. So, you know, we just got to keep the pressure on, and they're taking pride in it. They really are taking pride in it because it's a mindset and something that we have to do to be able to run the ball. We got to hold up our end up.
What did you think about the scrimmage on Saturday? How did they improve, progress? Anyone stand out individually?
You know, as a group, I thought they competed, really did. We graded out well in the run game, got target up, and that's the one thing I say about all of them. The mistakes, the mental mistakes are down. You know, so we're on the right people. Now I can coach on finishing. I can coach technique and spend time on that. You know, because they've really done a good job of what we talk about the 3 A's, triple A's. You know, assignment, alignment, adjustments. You know, they've done a really good job of that. You know, so that really stood out. That, you know what, we're on the right people. We know where we're going. You know, now we can play fast, and now I can really focus on being more physical and technique driven.
Anything else, Coach Gilmore? All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you guys.
Good.